Level 2. What happens if you have more than just a plain old addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? So what happens is you may run into some more things. Does anybody know what CLT means in the context of algebra? I'm gonna go ahead and write it. Combine like terms. So hopefully you already know what that is. You may need to combine like terms. We actually did combine like terms already. 18 plus 2. We combined it to get 20. Parentheses. If you see parentheses, you want to make them go away. Do not keep solving with parentheses in your equation. So there's a few different things you can do. Let me show you. So anybody know distributive? I'm going to show you how to use distributive property. So if you have parentheses, that's one really easy way that you can handle it. So you're going to distribute the number outside of the parentheses to the 2 or 3 or however many pieces inside. So I have 3 multiplied. So distributive property is multiplication. 3 multiplied by y is 3y. 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. So I have 3y plus 6 equals 15. Now it's the same old regular equation, right? So I would just subtract by 6 on both sides, and then I'm going to get 3y is equal to 9, and then I'm going to get divide by 3 and get y equals 3. So one thing you can do is distributive. But what did I just say distributive was? What operation is distributive? It's multiplication. So what's the opposite of multiplication? Division. So an easier strategy for some people would be, instead of doing all that work to distribute, you just do the opposite of multiplying by 3. So I would just divide both sides by 3, get y plus 2. Since it's the only thing left, right? There's nothing else there. The parentheses are just gone, like they're done doing their job. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. Now I have a simple equation to get y equals 3, which is the same exact answer. So there's 2 different ways. You could do distributive property, or you can just do the opposite of multiplication. I just put the same one here. It's negative, right? So go ahead and try it. I'm going to do the division way. Divide both sides by -3. So y plus 2 is equal to -5 minus 2 on both sides. Y is equal to -7. You would get the same answer if you used the other method of distributing the 3. So because the opposite here, right, we did division to make that -3 go away. Now we have parentheses again, but I see it's being divided. And we don't really do distributive there, but we can do the opposite of division. What's the opposite of division? Multiplication. So I'm going to just multiply both sides by 10. I'm going to get y plus 2 equals 20 minus 2 minus 2. Y equals -18. So that is how I would deal with parentheses. You want to deal with them ASAP. The last thing to remember is fractions are division. So a lot of people see fractions in a thing. They're like, oh my God, I can't. So just remember that they're division. So I just want to show you before we get to it. Let's say you have 1/3 y. And you're like, frick, what do I do? Rewrite it as division. Y divided by 3. Now, if you're trying to get y by itself and you're dividing by 3, do the opposite, which is multiply by 3 to get y by itself. So easy peasy. Now you may see a fraction like 2/4 and you're like, that's a little more complicated than 1/3. Not really. Notice here how the bottom part is the part that we divide by. Same thing over here. The bottom is what we divide by. So this is actually 2 multiplied by x plus 3 divided by 4. So once you have it looking like that, it's going to feel a lot better, right? Because I can easily multiply to get rid of that 4. Then I can distribute the 2 or divide by the 2 or whatever I got to do. All right, so let's go ahead and try some practice. So the first one, it has parentheses. Ooh, has parentheses, so I want to get rid of them. What was the first thing I wrote down, actually? Oops. The first thing is combine like terms. So my pen stopped working. Hi, y'all. So I'm back. We were about to start this first question, right? And we were thinking like, okay, I know I need to follow these steps. So the first step or the first tip, right, is to combine like terms. So I'm gonna go see, are there any like terms to combine? Do y'all see any like terms? Hint, there are 2. I'm gonna go ahead and combine 10 and 8. Notice how 6 is a like term, but it's inside the parentheses, so we can't really mess with it yet. And 32 is also a like term, like all these like terms, they're just regular numbers. But it's on the other side of the equal sign, so you can't mess with it either. So I'm just gonna go ahead and combine the 10 and the 8, which gets me 18. Now I'm going to figure out what to do next. And a big thing is dealing with those parentheses, right? So I can divide or do distributive. Here I'm going to do distributive. And the reason for that is because the parentheses are not by themselves. When you divide, it has to be both sides of the equal sign. So like just go ahead, distribute it. But what am I distributing? This equation right here, notice how there's a negative in front of the parentheses. That means you need to distribute a -1. So if you're not sure about that, you need to go back and figure out distributive property. But for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So 18 minus 3y minus 6 is equal to 32. Now my parentheses are gone, so I will proceed. What am I trying to get by itself? I'm trying to get the variable by itself, which is the y, meaning that I will delete the 18, the 6, and the 3. Now, 18 and 6, those are like terms again. So I'm going to combine them. 18 minus 6 should get me 12. Minus 3y is equal to 32. Now I have one of those equations from the beginning. So basically, once you get far enough in the equation, it's always going to look something like this. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the addition subtraction first, then the multiplication division. The addition subtraction here is the 12. The multiplication is the -3. So minus 12 on both sides, minus 3y is equal to 20. Divide by 3, divide by 3. Oh, I made a mistake. It's all good though. Not in my equation, I don't think. So 20 divided by 3 is going to be a decimal, so I'm just going to leave it like a fraction. And that may happen. It usually will not. Well, it depends on what kind of worksheet you have and what kind of test you're taking. But anyway, so that is my answer. Notice how I combined like terms. I had to get rid of parentheses. Everything else was the same. So let's go ahead and do the next one. So what do you notice in the next one? Can you combine any like terms? Yes, I can. I'm going to combine these. 6x, because 4x plus 2x is 6x, divided by 6 plus 2 equals -3. Now, I purposely put this question here because there's something really obvious you can do here, which is 6x divided by 6. These 6's can just cancel. So you don't even need to think like, oh, let me multiply by 6 to get rid of it. Don't even do it. Just do that. Now, I will show you. You can do it. It's just like, if you see an easy shortcut, take it. All right, so now this is just x plus 2 equals -3 minus 2 on both sides. X is equal to -5. Now, if I didn't really catch that, it's fine. Just do the PEMDAS backwards, which means addition, subtraction first. So get rid of that -2 first. Well, get rid of that +2 by doing a negative. 6x divided by 6 is equal to -5. Now, okay, I'm going to multiply by 6. Because that is how I can detach that 6. So I'm going to multiply by 6 to cancel. those. I'm left with 6x is equal to negative 30. Then I can finally divide by 6, and I will get negative 5. So same answer. Clearly this way is longer to do. Aha. And maybe you cannot see all that from my circle. So anyway, here it was. So let's go ahead and try my third example right here. Again, I'm purposely making these more and more challenging, right? So if you need, you go practice the basics, but like, just so that you're not shocked when you see it. And I also want you to see that they're all like the same steps. Even when they look crazy, it's just the same steps. So what we're gonna do, what do y'all see in this equation? Do you see any like terms? I mean, like, I see these numbers, but they're not just hanging out by themselves. And I see these x's, but one's in the parentheses, one's in a fraction, so I'm not trying to combine anything, like, no. But what else do I see? Some parentheses, so go ahead and get rid of those. 4x minus 28 plus 10x over 3 equals negative 38. So there's another problem in here. Y'all see a fraction. So you're probably like, oh my gosh, this freaking sucks. Now, what did I say fractions are? Fractions are division. What is the opposite of division? Multiplication. So what am I dividing by here? 3. To get rid of the fraction, I'm going to do the opposite of divide by 3. But this just requires us to be a little careful. I'm going to multiply every single term by 3. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply the 4x by 3. That's going to be 12x. I'm going to go ahead and multiply 28 by 3, which is going to give me, I'm going to go with 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 2 is 84. That doesn't make sense. Now, the 3 and the 3 will cancel. So it's just going to be 10x is equal to negative 3 times 38. So 3 times 8 again is 24. 3 times 3 is 9, 10, 11. Okay. So you can use your calculator for that, right? Now I can finally proceed. It looks better. It has no fractions. I'm not stressed out. I'm just going to go ahead and combine. It's going to get me 22x minus 84 is equal to negative 114. I'm going to do the opposite, plus 84 plus 84. 22x is equal to 0, 11 minus 8 is going to be 30. So negative 30. So notice again, it's a negative number plus a positive. You should know how to do that. If not, go ahead and ask me or try to find another YouTube video. Or use your calculator. Now, is this math good? I think it is. Divide both sides. And I'm going to simplify this to make it like this. Okay, let me just check my math real quick because I'm not feeling my number as a fraction. Okay, don't mind me. Next example, it has some stuff in there. Okay, it has, let's start with the main question. What are you trying to get by itself? The variable a, but there's 2 of them. So what do? You need to combine them. However, one of the a's is stuck in a fraction. So what you're going to do? Actually, we can't solve this right now. What you're going to do is multiply both sides by a. To get 24 plus 8a minus a squared equals 13a. And that is a quadratic. So my apologies. You can solve that. It's just to solve this, you're going to use probably graphing. You can use the quadratic formula. You can use factoring, but you cannot use plain old basic algebra like we're doing now.